bit at the woods because the wind is going to
Okay.
you can ask me some questions.
None of us like garbage. It's beautiful.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to write out a few pointers for you, questions you can ask me. Okay, I'll write them bold. Where are we? You can ask, I'll tell you. What are we doing? Are we doing? And what animals live here? And what trees are there? Okay, that's it. Not big, very easy for you to follow. I'm going to give you this bit of paper and I'll cut it down so we have to have a big paper. I'll have a knife so I can cut it down into small pieces so you can carry the paper.
Dad wants me to do an interview with him, so I guess we'll be doing an interview soon. Wait, is there a blog somewhere? Oh, I missed it. Well, let me explain what we're doing. Okay, just come in. Me and my dad have been doing a little, what's the word, documentary, not documentary, a little project on animal life, the wild, and yes, and stuff like that. So, where are we?
We are at Shirley Hills. It's a beautiful part of the countryside. It's not terribly far from Addiscombe, between Addiscombe and Addington, but there's lots of things to see here.
What are we doing?
Well, we are looking at different things, different animals, different insects, different plants, and different trees.
And what animals live here?
Well, now that is the big question. The other day we were looking at insects, and there's all sorts of insects living here. All you have to do is, looking for an insect, all you have to do is kick over a log and we get our magnifying glasses out and then we see all sorts of insects. What other animals? Well, we have bats here, we see at night time, and there are 18 different species of British bats. And when you come up at night time, you will hear them. You can hear them, you can hear their sound, and the sound the bats are using is echolocation, which helps them to find insects and also to find their way around because they don't see terribly well. So there's different types of bats up here, and also at night time we find owls. You can hear them hooting, and you can tell where they are and what tree they're in. And there's other creatures that are a lot shyer that we don't tend to see. Only very occasionally will we see badgers. But badgers are beautiful animals. They're really, really beautiful animals. They They tend to try and keep themselves to themselves, but if you're very quiet and you come up after dusk, you will probably be lucky to see one. Foxes are far easier to see. They're bolder creatures, so from time to time we will see foxes, and there are all types of birds up here. But believe it or not, the type of bird that most people aren't aware of is a bird that's been introduced to this country, which are parakeets. And you can hear the parakeets. They fly in quite big flocks and they make an incredible noise. Also, we have had the pleasure of seeing magpies. We've seen crows. The only bird that we haven't really seen is the Dartford warbler, which we're hoping will return to these woods. But as yet, I haven't seen one. But we do hope that we will see one quite soon. So yes, up here we'll have different types of rodents as well, although they're not so easy to spot. So the things that we can spot quite easily are the different types of birds, occasional foxes, and very, very occasionally badgers. But at night time we can frequently see bats.
And the final question is, and what trees are here?
What type of trees are here? Well, we have so many different trees here, and it's beautiful because they all grow together. We have various types of pine and spruce trees. All the pine and spruce trees are not the same. Some have come from other countries, the pine trees, which have been introduced to the United Kingdom, American and Chinese and Canadian pines. Also, we have the common English oak tree, which grows everywhere, and silver birch, and there are elm trees, and there are really beautiful beech trees, which have reached incredible heights, which are huge, and they are marvelous to look at, and chestnut trees. But also we have holly trees. We have heather that grows everywhere. Heather up here is ubiquitous. Well, everywhere you go you can see the heather in bloom. We have the gorse as well, but the gorse isn't in bloom at the moment. But when it does go into bloom, it's beautiful. It has a remarkable yellow flower on it. And again, we have rowan trees, which are in heavy with berries at the moment, so they're wonderful to look at. At the moment we're seeing in front of us gorse. Some of it has died off, but when the gorse does go into bloom, you get this wonderful deep yellow flower on it, which is a pleasure to look at. And also up here we have a lot of dead trees. I'm not sure why we have so many dead trees. The dead trees could have something to do with trees becoming deceased, or also could do with lightning strikes, but it's hard to tell because a lot of trees that are hit by lightning are normally scorched, but we don't find any scorch marks on a lot of the trees, so I'm wondering if they've become deceased or has the wind knocked them over. But yes, we have a rich variety of vegetation, plant life, trees, animals, insects. But sadly, we haven't been able to see it yet, but we don't have to walk too far to see what humans bring with them. And Samuel, what do humans bring with them?
Garbage.
Say that again?
Garbage.
Garbage, litter, and they leave it on the ground. And we were talking about a sad story the other day about a fox. Do you remember what the story was?
No. Oh yeah. So yeah, I do.
What happened to the fox?
He got his head stuck in a plastic bottle.
He got his head stuck in a plastic bottle. Now there were some kind humans around that was able to release this poor fox, but if these people hadn't been there, the fox would have died. And this is because of us. This is what happens in the woodlands. And the very same thing happens in the sea, because we discard litter everywhere, which is a huge danger to marine life. And the other day we went to South Norwood Country Park to look at aquatic life. And what was your thoughts on South Norwood Country Park, Sam, when we went there?
The lake is beautiful.
The lake is beautiful and there are lots of birds. Do you remember some of the birds that you saw?
No. No.
Okay, let's help you.
I think magpies.
There were some magpies by the lake. There were geese,
I had ducks.
ducks, and the big
Swans.
white. Do you remember the big white beautiful birds?
Swans.
Swans. I think you need to hold that steady as you film it. Yeah, there was beautiful swans, and also in the distance I saw a heron. Heron are tremendous at fishing. Fish is their staple diet. But again, what is the sad story about South Norwood Country Park?
Garbage.
Garbage. And anything else, Sam, that we talked about?
Hunting.
Sorry?
Hunting? No.
Sorry?
Is it hunting?
No, there's no hunting. But what do people bring there?
Garbage?
They bring garbage, but they also feed the birds with
Oh
it.
yeah, bread.
What does the bread do?
It swallows up their stomach.
And it also causes algae on the lake. And bread does something else that's really, really bad. It attracts rats.
Means what should we feed swans, ducks, animals what live in the lake
Well, there's
instead
lots
of
of
bread?
things we can feed them. Sweet corn, grain, corn, barley. Bread is definitely not what we feed them, because apart from it being harmful to the birds and causing algae in the lake, it also attracts rats. And during nesting season, when the rats get out of control, they eat and destroy the bird eggs. So they're a huge threat to the environment, but the main threat isn't the rats, it's us, because we attract the rats, because we're not thinking, and we discard litter, we discard food that's not meant to be there, and we bring all sorts of dangers and hazards to the aquatic life. Now in front of us is a beautiful beech tree. You might want to film that. It's an incredible tree, and it's stood for many years. So, you've got a good shot of that? Wonderful, wonderful, fantastic stuff, Sam. So down here is quite a lot of holly trees. For some reason we have holly in abundance down here. In the midst of the holly there's rowan trees growing, and there's also birch trees. There's beech and there's some elm amongst it too. But we have so much holly up here, but the holly hasn't come into bud yet. We have to wait a while yet before the holly grows beautiful red buds. So I think we've covered quite a bit for this video, so maybe we want to shut the video down and we'll walk on a bit more and start filming again if you need to. Okay?
Oh boy, London. What a place it is. You'll see a lot of garbage. Same with Croydon. They're very good places. I'm not saying London and Croydon are very bad, I'm just saying they're not good. They ruin things up.